morning, fat guy. You need to have a seat. We're going to have a talk. I'm going to be honest, when I see you fat guys walking around, I just sit back and watch you people from afar. And I think to myself, look at this guy. Look at this guy. What was his morning routine? I could imagine he woke up in the morning, he lifted up his breast because he got breast. You have breast tissue. You lift up your breast and you put deodorant on those breasts because it smells. You're a fat guy. Every crease and crevices smell. So you have to go the extra mile. You have to do things like put deodorant on those creases and crevices. You have to deodorize your entire physique, your entire body. But I watch you people from afar and I get very upset and very angry. I get very bothered. And I start to think to myself, look at this guy walking around with his arrogance. You see, one thing about fat guys is they think they got it all figured out. They think they can know the entire world. They don't know. Nobody can tell them anything. They're a fat guy. And then you see them make these decisions to try to overcompensate for the fact that they're fat. And they'll say to themselves, well, okay, I am fat. I have large breast tissue as a man. Let me go to the car dealership and let me purchase an expensive vehicle, a very nice vehicle. I'll put all my energy into this car, make it look very nice. And once I do that, all the women are going to start flooding into my DMs. They're going to start flooding into my life. This is how the mind of a fat person works. These people are irrational. These people are insane. And so the other day while on Twitter, I saw one of these fat guys go completely viral. It was a very sloppy fat guy, maybe 300 to 400 pounds, and he has a very nice Ford Mustang. And he puts a lot of effort into it, and he's one of these guys, he puts a lot of money into the engine of the car to make it go very fast. He wants to have a fast car. Again, this is how the mind of a fat man works. He thinks to himself, well, I can't run a quarter mile. I can't jog a quarter mile. I'll die. But if I buy a vehicle and if I put a lot of money into the car's engine and make it go very fast in a quarter mile, my life will become 10 times better. And so this fat guy, you know, he's into the street car culture. He's into drag racing on the highway, killing These are the people that are going 150 miles an hour down the highway. They lose control and they kill a family of 3 going on their way to the picnic. These fat guys. This happens all the time. So this fat guy who drag races on the highway with other people and with fast cars decided to make a bet with a black guy. Now here's the problem. When you bet against black guys, you better have the money because black guys, when it comes to money, they'll kill anybody. I've heard cases of black guys killing people over $15, $20. And you hear rappers and African-American people in movies and TV shows, they always talk about, I don't play about my money, I don't play about my money. These people don't play about their money. How many times do they have to say it for you to understand and take them seriously? And so, of course, the fat guy doesn't understand this concept because fat people don't understand anything. Fat people just think about food and fat people just think about pleasure. So the fat guy with the Mustang decided, well, okay, I'm going to race this black guy down the highway and we're going to bet a lot of money on the race. And of course, the fat guy lost because he's fat and he's a loser. And of course, he's 300 pounds, so he's putting his car in a massive disadvantage. So after the race, they head over to the gas station to settle their bets. And of course, the fat guy doesn't have the money. Now we have ourselves a problem. Because on one hand, you have the black guy who don't play about his money. And on the other hand, you have the fat guy who's never denied himself any pleasures and is very entitled and thinks he's got the whole world figured out. And he doesn't know anything about anybody else. All he cares about is his pleasures. How can I eat more food? How can I get a Twinkie? How can I circumvent me being fat by getting a nice car? How could I cheat my way through life without putting in any work? So they get to the gas station and there's a standoff between the black guy and the fat man. The black guy who don't play about his money says, where my money at? And this was the response of the fat guy. Listen to this.
So you let me know how the fuck you gonna see one day. You fucking know, get it to work.
Now you see what happens? What lesson can we learn here from the fat guy? The African-American man who don't play about his money smacked thunder out of the fat guy. In front of everybody. Everybody saw it. Millions of people have seen this video. This fat guy, who might just be Indian from what I'm seeing, which would make it even worse, got smacked in front of his entire community, put all his energy into, and then it got posted on Twitter, and then millions upon millions of people have seen it. But wait, folks, it gets even worse. You see, because this isn't in here. You would think, okay, he got smacked by the black guy, and now there's going to be a fight, right? Wrong. Listen to this.
Oh, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Oh. My shit. Chill. No jump. What you mean? No jump, nigga. The raise. Pay up the money. Just fucking slap me. Pay the money up there, bro. Gonna slap you again, nigga. I'm not gonna slap you. Pay the money up. Come on, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm not gonna hit you. I'm not. Pay me my fucking money. Pay me my fucking money.
Now, folks, I can't show the video because YouTube will take this down. But I want you to take a close look at these images. It starts with a black guy grabbing the fat man by the neck, by the fat neck, and shoving him to the hood of his Ford Mustang. By the way, I want you to notice the posterior chain of the black man. Look, he has very high elevated glutes, a very muscular and strong back. This man's gonna overpower the fat man any day, any time. And so now we go to the next slide where we see the African-American man with a firm grip around the fat man's fat neck. And look at the expression on the fat man's face. This is the moment that the fat guy's rethinking, reevaluating his entire life. What's it all for? The car, the Ford Mustang, the shiny Ford Mustang, all the money I dumped into the engine, what was it all for? Super fast car, super loud, lot of burbles, all for what? Now I'm in a random gas station getting choked by a black guy who's violent. I could have been home eating Doritos, Cheetos, Pringles, drinking juice, and then gooning for a couple hours. But no, I'm a car guy. I dumped all my energy into the stupid car instead of self-improving, and look at me now. That's what's running through this fat man's mind, but of course it takes a catastrophe for these fat people to finally wake up and say, I ain't living right. It's the same thing for guys that are fat, ugly, and poor, and this is why I speak to you this way. Because if I speak to you this way, maybe you'll finally snap out of it and make some changes in your life. But let's go on to the next slide. And I want you to notice the black guy who don't play about his money's face. You know what this is called? This is 200 years of abuse of the African-American community. A country that's kicked these people down for years and years now. And black folk don't had enough. Enough of the abuse. Enough of getting robbed already. You see, this African-American man who black maxes by default bought himself a Hellcat without being able to pay for it. This happens all the time. And so every month is a battle to be able to pay for insurance, to be able to pay the massive car payment for a Hellcat, plus rent, plus all utilities, all the expenses, credit card debt. And so he was depending on the money from this drag race to be able to make do on these bills. Just to find out that an entitled fat guy doesn't have his money to pay him. Think about you struggling to pay all your rent, all your bills. The last $100 you have, you dump it into a gamble. You win, you go to collect the winnings, and they say, sorry, sir, you didn't win shit. Maybe next time. Hey, maybe next time. How would you feel? Now compound that with the fact that your people have been kicked and spit on for over 200 years. How would you feel? What would you do? But let's move on to the next slide. Now this slide just points to all the problems with the fat guy. The fat guy is being assaulted by an angry black man who's had enough. He's getting dragged and choked on his vehicle. He's put all his money, all his efforts into. And now he's getting dragged to the floor by his neck. Now I want you to notice his arm in his hand. This guy, this fat man, has his hands in his pocket. Because more importantly than all, in self-defense than anything else, is to protect his gut from being exposed or his pants from dropping down to the ground. What the fuck could possibly have you having your hands in your pocket while you're being assaulted by another man? I want you to ask me that question. Folks, this is what happens to fat guys. Misfortune, embarrassment, humiliation rituals. Because we go to Twitter, this video alone has over 18 million people have seen this video. 18 million people now recognize you as the fat loser who, number one, lost the race. Number two, didn't have any money to pay up. And number three, got humiliated and choked on, manhandled by a black guy. Oh, and let's not forget you're also fat. But here's the good news. Maybe, just maybe, you taking this massive and final L would get you to finally go ahead and make some changes in your life. You need to lose 350 pounds. There's no other choice. You have no choice because everybody recognizes you as the fat loser with the Mustang. Your only course of action now is to lose 350 pounds, become completely unrecognizable, so when people show you the video of you being a loser, you say, well, that's not me. That's not even me. They wouldn't even look the same. Not even the same person. If you're a fat guy listening to this right now, do not buy the Hellcat. Do not buy the expensive car. Do not buy the expensive clothes. Do not buy the expensive watch. Do not buy anything that's flashy that catches the attention of people because you're fat. Above it all, above the facade, you are still fat and you can never hide it. Above it all, when you lift up your breast tissue, it smells really bad. You lift up the folds on the side of your stomach, it smells really bad. Now you can ignore this advice and you're going to face the consequences like this fat guy in a gas station getting choked out by a black guy. It's up to you. I don't care. Either way, I don't care. Nobody else cares. We're just going to sit back and laugh at people like you.